Saint's got his new setup.
Feel free to eat the mic, around.
Jeremy.
What?
Feel free to eat the mic, Jeremy.
Okay. Close as it can get right now.
I can just hold my mic like this. I could just hold it, whenever.
See, look, let's look at the professional Jeremy. Saint's holding the microphone. I can do that too, but mine, I guess, sounds okay. You guys never complain, but who knows? Except for it's my voice. I know. I was going to head Jeremy off at that pass, but
we don't really want to hear what you say.
Lee, and you are listening to The Usual Saints.
Welcome to a new episode of The Usual Saints. I'm Mike D here this week with Jeremy, and Saint Vinny, who joined us for 2 episodes and said he was back, is not back. He's out working. He's got to earn that bread, so I can't fault him for that. Anything exciting going on with you guys this week before we get into the topic list? We got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. Obviously Super Bowl is this week. By the time this comes out, the Super Bowl will be underway.
I don't think you can use those words together. NFL.
Are you sure? I don't think so. I think I could say Super Bowl.
I don't know. Have you ever advertisers, man? People out there can't say Super Bowl. They got to say big game.
Super Bowl. Should call
it the awesome plate.
The awesome plate?
Yeah, the Super Bowl. And all.
No, I'll never say that.
Come on. I don't know. They got a trademark. I can't. They can get on you for using it.
Oreo's trademarked. I can fucking say Oreo.
Yeah, but they're not trying to protect that trademark.
Whatever. What do you think? Are you excited for the game at all, Jeremy? Since Saints taking it back, I'll let you go first.
I always enjoy the Super Bowl. I mean, it's a little weird. There's, I don't really care about either team all that much. I'm not really even sure who I'm rooting for yet. I'll usually just root for a good game. But that's what it is. Yeah, neither team. I mean, even though it's LA, I still don't know that they're going to draw numbers because it's LA. I don't know. They're trying to hype it up.
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about? Draw numbers. Okay, I get what you mean. Get viewers. It's the Super Bowl. It's going to be the biggest fucking event of the year. And the halftime show should get, hopefully, well, I don't want to say younger listeners. I guess Kendrick might get some younger viewers. But I mean, people who like Dre and Eminem and Snoop.
Suburban moms in their 40s.
Yeah, I saw your wife's post. Something like their kids are about to find out who their parents really are when the halftime show is.
That's all over the internet right now.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. Say, you got any opinions on the game?
Yeah, although that meme, that does sound pretty funny. If you have your parents sea walking as soon as Dre and Eminem, hear your mom try to spit out some Eminem lyrics and stuff. That's hilarious. I don't know. To me, it just seems like this Super Bowl has no storylines. There's no, Joe Burrow's the up and coming, but there's nothing really that big. Yes, Matthew Stafford's, been in the league, but it's not one of those stories like a Peyton Manning or an Aaron Rodgers. Look at this great quarterback who's never won it. You've been like, Stafford's good. And if he wins, it's good. So I think there isn't many storylines, and it's taking place in LA, which this team just got there. So it's not some like tortured fan base or anything like that. So I think the biggest thing is that there aren't that many storylines or ones that we really care about. So halftime show, I'm probably not going to watch. To tell you the truth, and I'm probably going to have. Well, I'm gonna have. So full disclosure, I've been on the fishing boat almost every Super Bowl the last 6 years. So I've missed the game. I've been on the boat, and we have like one of those pools where you pick a bunch of squares and whatever numbers there is, one of those office pools, whatever. And I've actually won it I've actually won it where me and somebody else like team up, be like, we'll split it if we win. If you get the number, if I get the number, we split it. So out of the last 6 years, I've actually won it 3 times, which is pissed a lot of people on the boat off. So they're glad I'm not there this year. But besides that, the gambling aspect, it's kind of like, I feel like the end of the football season is kind of a letdown, not because there's not going to be football, but I like it when there's a lot of games and a lot of things to talk about, but when there's only a few games and now that literally there's just going to be one game And if it's a boring game, then okay, So I don't know. It feels a bit anticlimactic with the Super Bowl every year. Who knows? You might have a great game, but I'm sure I'll watch some of it. But I'm not like super like charged. I don't know. Just football just doesn't do it for me like it used to. So just gotten old and fat. So
Saint brings up a good point about gambling. Have either one of you heard any good prop bets for the game?
Not really. I did before there used to always be those big, huge prop bets or the funny ones. I haven't heard anything this year either. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jaden.
No. So some of the ones I've saw already was obviously Mickey Guyton. Is that how you pronounce the name? Apparently that's who's singing the national anthem. Yeah. Prop bet is it more or less than 95 seconds? Saw one about the color of Snoop Dogg's shoes. How many songs will be performed during the halftime show? Will Eminem wear a hat? No hat? A handkerchief? Stupid shit like that. I mean, obviously there's all the ones, how many receptions will Cooper Kupp have? And, will Matthew Stafford, which team will score first? Will the first score be a touchdown? All that kind of shit. But the better, there's not a ton of, at least not on the sites I've been looking at, not a ton of more interesting ones like we've seen in the past.
The sites I've been looking at, Pornhub and stuff, they don't have prop bets usually. So
I did see one place had some prop bets related to Missy Elliott's cleavage. I'm not quite sure. I didn't read up on it. I wasn't going to go for that, but
she's going to be in the show. I thought Mary J. Blige was going to be in the halftime show.
Maybe it's Mary J. Blige. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
One or the other.
You racist.
Because I don't know my rappers. Yep.
I was going to make they all look alike, Joe, but Missy or Mary J. I mean, I do remember the one year when my wife actually the one year I was home, my wife pointed out where Missy came and she saved the show from Katy Perry. Like, my wife was like, this is terrible. And then Missy shows up and does like 4 songs. I'm like, oh, this is great. And then she goes away and Katy Perry comes back. My wife's like, okay, I'm done. That was my Missy Elliott Super Bowl. But I see those prop bets are always weird because, okay, now with the crypto and the NFT, everyone's engaged in everything. So if there's big bets on the color of Snoop Dogg's shoes, you're telling me someone's not going to pay Snoop Dogg, hey, Snoop, I'll give you an extra $20,000 because I got $100,000 bet that you're going to come out in yellow shoes. I don't see how those bets can be made anymore now that everyone's in on the thing. And how long, the anthem's going to be and those kind of deals. The other kind of bets, if I was more of a degenerate and had more money to blow, I guess I would try to get on an online thing and do some live betting. That would be interesting, just in game as the game goes along, be like, okay, who's going to score the next touchdown? How far you can bet on almost anything, which I find is just nuts. But that'd be fun if you're, a degenerate. But for me, if I'm not going to be blowing that money, most of them, there's nothing that's really that interesting to me about it. For you, Mike, what's the most interesting thing about this game to you?
Like you touched on a little bit, there's not a lot that's interesting me. The halftime show probably interests me the most. For the Bengals, I'll say, the funny joke before they got into the playoffs or when they got into the playoffs was no one's ever gotten a text message saying the Bengals won a game. Playoff game because the text messages were invented after the last time they won a playoff game. So, them being in the Super Bowl after 33 years, I think, that's an interesting look. Joe Burrow being just named comeback player of the year. That's interesting. Of course, them being the Steelers division opponents. I don't know if I want them to win. At the same time, when the Ravens got in the Super Bowl a few years ago, I was like, oh yeah, I guess I'll root for the Ravens at that point. I think there may have been, I don't know if they were playing Brady. No, they wouldn't have been playing Brady because it would have been AFC. I forget who they were playing, but I did not like the other team. Regarding Stafford, I don't want to say disagree with you, but so he's been trapped in Detroit, which is a shithole situation for a decade, right? Everyone talks about he's constantly in the top 5 in number of yards per year. He's constantly has good players not constantly. He had Megatron. He'd get a good running back occasionally. And then you just ship him 1 year to LA. Literally a year after the day he got traded, he won the fucking NFC championship or something to that effect. So, or he's going to be in the Super Bowl. So that's an interesting dynamic, seeing that one quarterback, what can happen when he's put in the right situation. You know what I mean? Because would the Rams have made it if Stafford wasn't there and if Goff was there again? I don't think so. So it's an interesting story. It's not huge though. It's not like you said, someone who's been there forever and it's their time kind of thing, like Elway, let's say, Elway getting there and winning those two in the 90s. But everyone's gonna watch. I'm gonna watch. You're gonna watch. Everyone's gonna watch. I can't believe you're not gonna watch the halftime show though. I'm pretty excited for it. So we'll see.
I find, to me, it's only when you have a superstar talent doing a singular show that it ends up being good. I remember the one year Bruno Mars did it himself, and he's a super talent. He can sing, he can dance, he can play instruments, so he can revolve an entire show around him. I thought maybe The Weeknd had a chance of that, but that became meme to death. I didn't see it because, again, I was on the boat, but I heard that was one where people were like, what is going on here? Someone like Prince can do a halftime show by himself. It's like, I'm going to sing, dance, play. You can be entertained by me. When the halftime show has to be entertainment by committee, I don't think it ever works. You ever see the halftime shows where it's like, oh, we're doing Aerosmith, and all of a sudden Nelly pops out for like half a song? Like, what? So I'm just not interested in the entertainment by committee thing. I think when you have one performer who can knock it out, that's cool. When it's, a group of people, it always just seems like, oh, so you really didn't have one person who could hold it by themselves. So
yeah, Prince can't do it anymore. He's dead. But but The Weeknd last year,
we can't get Whitney for the anthem either. Thank you, Mike. Didn't know that. Appreciate it.
The Weeknd last year, I'll say I really thoroughly enjoyed that. Actually made me become a bigger fan of his. I think I downloaded all of his albums after his Super Bowl performance. It was really technically really awesome too. Just everything that he did. He went, behind the stands or whatever. He went and did that whole blinding lights thing. And he went out on the field and the choreography. I thought it was really well done. I mean, Jeremy, we watched it at your house. What did you think when you were watching it last year?
I was not familiar with his music very much. This year, I'm more excited for this year's halftime performance than last year's, obviously. I know these artists, or at least most of them, more than I have in a few years. I understand, Jay-Z's company had like a 10-year contract, I think, to produce the halftime show. So he's going to produce what he knows for, at least a few more years. See how that goes.
All right. Well, I think that's a decent A block. Any thoughts on the Super Bowl? Go ahead.
I just want to end up with saying, yeah, Jay-Z and his Live Nation, and yeah, the NFL, we won't hire Black coaches or Black employees, but we'll get the Blacks to come and entertain us during halftime. That was like a big deal. But also, I also understand why, for an artist, it's basically a 7-minute commercial for whatever. And I think every single artist has done the Super Bowl, has seen their record sales or streams or whatever quadruple, or whatever, their sales go up. So it makes sense. But again, once by committee, I mean, it's Mary J, it's Snoop, it's Dre, it's Eminem. I don't think any of them have any like real new music. I'm sure they have songs out, but they don't have any new albums coming out. So they'll get the Super Bowl bump. But I don't know why you'd be excited to see a smorgasbord of Eminem, Dre, and Snoop come out. I don't know. To me, it just seems it's not exciting to me. But
that's one prop bet I did forget about was how many times they'll have to censor during the halftime show. Shit.
Nah.
You think of any Eminem or Snoop or Dre songs that which ones are going on live on the stage to, America's households?
At this point, and because of the NFL and everything, they have it all worked out. They have clean versions that they've practiced and they edited out, and they've probably been already approved. They're trust me. As much, God damn it! Did you hear that sound? Sorry,
I heard something, but that's fine.
Right. And this ain't the '90s Dre gangster whatever. This is corporate Beats by Dre. We're in our 50s, getting into our 60s. So I'm pretty sure they've got everything cleaned up, and there's going to be none of that because they're all about the money.
Coming out and giving Snoop a hug.
That would be interesting.
They're best friends.
All right.
We hang out. We got the whole, convict thing to talk about.
Just because he's a black guy doesn't mean he's a convict.
I'm pretty sure he said he was a convict, but okay.
just because Eminem's a rapper doesn't mean he's going to wear a do-rag. One of those prop bets.
They had hat and nothing as well.
I don't think he's ever worn a handkerchief on his head, but I'm sure at one point, but I've not heard of any. It's usually his blonde hair, then his black hair phase. Now he's been wearing the hat. Who knows if he's trying to hide baldness or anything like that. But I want to hear him come out and spit Godzilla. Have you guys heard that verse? That's that fastest rap of all time. It's really good. I like it. All right, let's take a quick break. I'm going to do something different when we come back for the B block because I'm tired of all these topics on the topic list. We're really going to just run through that shit. If no one has anything to say about them, no, we can do that. But if no one has anything to say about it, we're just going to skip past.
All right, I'm going to go get a drink during the B block then because I got nothing to say.
Well, that's fine. It should be really quick. We do have good topics at the bottom that I do want to talk about, including the Oscar nominations for the Oscars, which just came out. So we'll talk about those, see if you guys have any thoughts about those. So
good topics.
You motherfucker. So we'll be right back. Keep listening to The Usual Saints.
Hey everybody, this is Zeb Wells, and you're listening to The Usual Saints.
Whoa, I'm gonna go get a drink. I don't have anything to say.
Fucking started up again already. Yeah,
welcome back to The Usual Saints. I'm Mike D here this week with Saint and Jeremy. All right, so let's see. Not the things at the top because that's stuff you guys put on there and you might want to talk about at some point, I guess. I don't know, shows we thought ended way too soon, shows we want to see a reunion of. Plans for the rest of the year. Well, I guess we could take that one off because that's past. Anyone have anything to say about Alex Jones being found guilty for the Sandy Hook defamation? Alex Jones, just kind of a piece of garbage kind of guy. No.
Good.
Good. There we go. Jeremy. All right. Jeremy doesn't care. Steve Bannon surrendering on contempt charge. I don't even remember. I'm assuming that's January 6th, him not going to Congress. Yeah. All right. Anyone? No. Next.
Again. Your topics seem to follow a theme, and it's not an interesting one.
The theme is public safety and health and the intelligence of people. Broncos requiring masks in all indoor spaces at stadium. You know, supposedly
they
LA
haven't played in a month.
I know. Supposedly.
What the fuck's wrong with your fucking list? Take shit off.
Supposedly LA is requiring masks in their stadium for the Super Bowl, but allegedly during the NFC Championship game, like even the governor and the mayor were seen during photo ops not wearing masks. So do you guys think that's really going to be enforced?
There's a ton of photos out there where they're all, standing together for the camera with masks on. And then there's candid pictures of them all sitting around laughing and drinking without them. I mean, it's that's nothing new.
Right.
The rules aren't for everybody. They're just for, the people that don't make the rules.
Moving on. All right. I'll let if Saint has something to say, he'll bump in.
Oh no, but by now, again, I was all for the public safety and stuff, and again, you shouldn't just kowtow to whatever pressure, but I feel like by now it's like, okay, and not saying I necessarily agree on some like libertarian blah blah blah, because the government makes you do a lot of shit, the government makes us do a lot of shit that normally if you apply the same standards, people would be like, it's tyranny, it's this and that, but you don't care about it. So you don't act like it. But with COVID, everything becomes this freedom and tyranny thing. So I'm basically at the point now, just drop all the mandates, drop it all. And then if you end up in the hospital dying, like I've run out of sympathy. I don't care. Everyone knows you can get vaccinated or not get vaccinated, wear a mask, don't wear a mask. I just say, just open it all up. Who cares? And then, if the hospitals become overrun or whatever, we'll just deal with that, because it seems like people would much rather deal it on the back end than on the front end. And if that's the way people's attitude about it now, just why bother anymore? We've done what we can do, and enough responsible people have been responsible. And if people just want to be like, yeah, I just don't want to do it, screw safety, then I'm willing to be like, you know what, just drop all the facades, drop the mask mandates. I don't know what they're going to do with schools, because, I know all of us have children, and we all know for a long time you needed a vaccination to go to school, but now that might be up. Do you have to vaccinate for measles and chickenpox now, or are we just going to let that go? I don't know, but if people go ahead.
So you can get an exemption to send your kids to school without vaccination. You got to fill out a religious exemption form. It's not very difficult.
Which I guess that's what most people are going to do now.
Religious exemption, at least through the state, doesn't need to be. You don't need to prove that you're highly religious. You just have to have a personal belief that you don't want to be taken. You don't have to have, the Pope doesn't have to say he doesn't think vaccines are good for you to be able to say that your religious beliefs are that you shouldn't have to take one. The bar is not very high to get an exemption to not have to vaccinate your kids. And as far as the mask mandates, as of Thursday, New York City dropped their mask mandate, which surprised the shit out of me, except for schools. Schools in New York City still have
which, again, I'm just like, drop the school part too. It's just, there's so much pushback and there's so much blah, blah, blah. Like you said, it's been 2 years. It's not because I personally feel like, I'm over it, because if there was still if a consensus of scientists says, hey, this would still help, but it feels like there's just way too many people now who are like, this is tyranny. This is this. Can we get back? It's like, okay, we've got the vaccinations. We've had the boosters. You can get your child vaccinated. And I sort of kind of agree now. It's just on them. And all I want is an end to the whole, we're living under a tyrannous, because being in Florida, I don't even know when anything was shut down. Like, I came back summer of 2020 from the boat. I thought it was going to be like, the things you see on TV. I came back here and everyone was like, nah, bro, we're good for business. So I've never really understood. And again, that's just a Florida thing. And yeah, I'm talking to some people who've caught COVID, but I came back again. Imagine me being on a fishing boat in March. This is going on tangent. In January, me and the chief engineer on the boat, we're seeing these things happening in China. And we're telling guys on the boat, like, you guys better hope this doesn't hit the US, because it might be bad. And everyone on the boat's like, oh, Saint, you and Corey back there on your computers thinking that you're smart. Like, it's a China thing. It's the flu. Let the Chinese die. We don't bubble fisherman shit, right? I was like, okay. Hits in March. World freaks out. And we're just in the middle of the ocean. Like, what the fuck? Are we going to be able to offload fish? What is going on? We sell mostly to China. Fast forward, it comes to the part where guys start rotating off and going home after you've been on a boat for a few months. And everyone's like, half our guys couldn't go back home because some of them live in the Philippines. Philippines were shut down. They couldn't even fly. They're like, I got to stay in Seattle. And I'm flying back to Florida. Like, what's it going to be masked? I come back. It's just, hey, man, that Corona shit was over. And then, of course, we had the Delta wave, and now we've had the Omicron, so on and so forth. But my feeling now is, I'm with it. I'm like, before it's like, hey, it's, some parts you can't listen to people who are just mad, for whatever. But at this point, we've had vaccines, boosters, children under 12. I think just lately they're going to do 5 and up can get the vaccine now. So
Pfizer actually put in a thing to get kids under 5, but they withdrew it today.
Okay.
I don't know why yet. I haven't been able to find that out yet.
So I'm just like, you know what? Just let's, New York, they're dropping theirs. I think California, LA, and it's just going to be like, everyone knows the risk and it's something we'll just live with. So
Florida was shut down for 2 months, pretty much. Saint. It was until about May. When they opened it back up, because DeSantis is a fucking retard, and he opened it back up because, hey, I want to be running for president in 2024. So yeah. It was weird for 2 months, man. You go places, still even Walmart here in Vero, like, is only open till like 10 or 11. It's not even open 24 hours because they clean the store. So
I don't know that they're going to be open 24 hours again. I think they kind of took the opportunity to just say, hey, you know what? This works better. We don't want to be open all night anymore. We're not going to be.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So hold on. This little talk we just had probably took out like 70% of the topics you have left on that list, between masks and vaccines, and just go ahead and delete all of those. We don't have to talk about each one individually.
Oh no, we'll see. We'll run it through real quick.
I knew that was going to be his response. I knew you said that, Jeremy, and then I knew he's going to be like, "Oh no, we'll see." So go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
He can't handle it.
All right. So New Zealand banning cigarettes for future.
Just go in and delete shit every day.
Motherfucker.
Fucking drive.
I'll take your access away. New Zealand banning cigarettes for future generations. I thought that was pretty cool. I like New Zealand. I like that prime minister they have. Plus, she's kind of cute. So I mean, it's like they're
how he dropped that. Plus, she's kind of cute in there, Jeremy. It's always leads back to the same. Well, I don't know. She's kind of cute. Maybe we should pay attention to this bitch. Like, no, go ahead.
Was it Netherlands or Finland that the whole cabinet's like hot chicks in their 40s?
Maybe, I don't know, but like, I think that's pretty smart. You know what I mean? Like, shut up. Cigarettes, there's no beneficial qualities to it. I mean, do you guys have any opinion on this? I think it's great. I hate cigarettes. I think they're a bane of society, but
there's the the idea of freedom, what's free and what's not free. Again, your ability to be free pretty much should stop at my health, but I think no banning for the future, but definitely, I totally agree. No cigarettes in indoor places, hospitals, schools, that kind of thing. Again, I straddle the line of libertarian because you never want the government to start getting the power that, hey, we've decided this is bad for you personally. Again, I'm also someone that thinks all drug laws are mostly bullshit, and you should be able to smoke weed, or hell, if you find a acceptable underground way to obtain opiates or cocaine or whatever, then that's your business, until you do something that affects someone else's health or personal safety. So that's where I fall on it. But yeah, most places you can't smoke cigarettes without blowing it if you're indoors. But in general, I'm not totally for the banning of things. So,
well, I mean, I'm not looking for people to go to jail or anything about it. Yeah. If they ban selling it in the country, like they didn't import them at all, then it might lead to some black market shit. I don't know. Finding them, why not? I don't care. Doesn't affect me. So,
so you them banning all other drugs too?
I am, but that would never. Well, everything's an addiction issue. You're right. I definitely think they should get rid of like jail time for like drugs and stuff like that. I feel like drugs, just like cigarettes, and because here in the U.S. especially, cigarettes are never going to be banned or anything like that. I feel like drugs should be legalized. That way, their purity and everything can be taken care of. You wouldn't have, hopefully, as many overdoses. You wouldn't have people having to go do illegal things to get what they need for their fixes. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. For marijuana it is, but marijuana is probably, the least.
I don't know that making them legal stops people from doing illegal shit to get them. You still got to get them. You still got to pay for them.
Yeah.
I don't think it stops that part of it.
Maybe not. All right. Next, Michael Strahan in space. I don't even know why I put that. Do you guys remember why he went to space?
I thought we covered that. He went up on Jeff Bezos. Was it? He was on Jeff Bezos's. Yeah. Was it Jeff Bezos? Yeah, Jeff Bezos' bullshit flight or whatever.
The penis shaped rocket.
That's right.
Yeah.
What's it called? Blue
Origin.
Blue Origin.
He went up on the second one, I think.
After Strahan went on the second one. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Saint, we had talked about this in December, I think, when Jeremy wasn't there. So the whole West Side Story thing.
Fucking December on there still.
Shut up, asshole. What the fuck? So West Side Story, I think it was the lowest grossing Spielberg movie, like not of all time, but it was really low grossing. Did you guys even know about that main guy? Do you know? First of all, he's got the weird name, so I don't even know if you know who he is. Well, not that means anything. Ansel Elgort. He was in Baby Driver, which I thought he was great in, but I don't remember any of these sexual assault allegations. Do you guys remember anything about that?
I saw it a little bit, but I'm just so not interested in some of the things. Not saying that it's not a serious issue, but yeah, I guess he had there was some allegations that were brought up against him, but I didn't really hear anything about that. It kind of feels like they kind of just wanted it to go away. They didn't really do much press. But yeah, and then of the low box office, it's like, okay, it's Spielberg. I mean, Scorsese, as much as he wanted to shit on Marvel and everything, Scorsese, it seems like he's already figured out like, hey, streamers. I mean, Netflix paid him, I don't know how much money to do, what was it? The Irishman. And then now he has, what is it? It's of a summer moon. It's something.
Oh, Killing Under
Killers of a Flower Moon. I think Killers of a Flower Moon, which is, kind of the story of the invention of the modern FBI, about pretty crazy story about these native people who got land in Oklahoma that was theirs. And then once oil was discovered on it, someone was like systematically offing them, killing this entire tribe of people because they own this valuable land, and it's land getting repossessed by, basically their white handlers. It's a crazy story, but back to it. Martin Scorsese, I think Apple is funding that one. So Scorsese's already moved on to realize, hey, streamers where it's at. And if all you're doing is putting your movies out, God damn it, putting your movies out into ordinary theaters. I think Spielberg needs to look to see where the future's going.
Jeremy, anything? Okay.
I didn't see it. Don't know anything about it.
Chris Wallace leaving Fox News and joining CNN streaming. I don't really care about this. I just thought it was funny that the most liberal guy on Fox News left to go to CNN. But that also leads into Jeff Zucker allegedly being fired because of some inappropriate or not talked about relationship, but also because that the new people, I think it was Malone, who got some piece of CNN. He wants to kind of get it away from opinion and back to hard news. Any opinions on this? I don't really have one, honestly. So.
I mean, it depends on ratings, but I think that battle's kind of been lost. People who don't trust CNN. So what?
CNN fired Cuomo too.
Right, because he's a fucking idiot. He really should have just said, like, I'm just staying away. And, you know, if you're reporting my brother is a public figure, anything that has to do with my brother, I'm going to stay away from. But he decided that, you know, he knew better. He was going to interject himself. You know, it's just a classic conflict of interest that any normal thinking person would have been like, yeah, you know, I'm going to just stay away from anything that has to do with my brother. I'm not saying if you want to have personal conversations with your brother and do all that, that's fine. But when you're trying to influence how CNN and your job deals with it, if he can't see the conflict of interest, then yeah, he should have been fired because he's a dope. And both of them kind of seem kind of dopey anyway. But with that, CNN going back, I mean, the battle's already lost. If people don't trust the stuff that goes on CNN, it's already, you know, you're already then. It's proven that people are going to their separate bubbles. Like, if you want your conservative news, you go into Fox News. If you want the liberal stuff, you're probably going to MSNBC. CNN, I don't know. From my view, CNN seemed like they were always trying to straddle this middle ground. Like, yes, that we're the middle ground of it because you've seen lots of conservatives on there, but to the conservative side, CNN is the Clinton Network News Network because they're not getting into stuff that they see on Fox. And, you know, MSNBC's kind of figured out their lane, like, hey, we'll be on the more liberal side, even though their morning host, Morning Joe, is a former Republican congressman, but MSNBC gets the label like it's nothing but liberals on there. So, I mean, if they think trying to go back to quote unquote straight news is going to fix their problems, they're probably sad. Yeah, they got their head in the sand. They're not really looking what the landscape's like. So,
all right, next, Fox News tree set on fire at Christmas time. Brian Kilmeade thought it should be a hate crime. Any thoughts on that? I thought that was funny that he wanted it to be a hate crime.
No.
Jeremy leans back, so I know he's got nothing to say about it. Devin Nunes, is that how you say his name? Nunes? Yeah. He resigned from Congress to run Trump's media company. I thought that was kind of funny. Like, I mean, I don't know if he just didn't think he was going to win next time around, but resigning in the middle of your term to go run Trump's media company, I don't know. Whatever.
I'm leading the blind and a better grift over there. It's a better grift over there. Being a congressman for all of them, for that sake, Republican and Democrat, but going and running a quote unquote media company is probably a better grift. So it's like, when you're a congressperson, you got to be on committees and listen to, you know, people bullshit and, you know, still deal with lobbyists. Run Trump's media company. It's just like, it's a better grift.
Yeah, and he probably has job security until Trump doesn't like him anymore. Let's see. Rand Paul logging off of YouTube. I forget why he did that. I think it was like someone got banned or taken down, and so he said, "Oh, free speech is not on YouTube anymore. I'm going to take myself off it." Who cares? I don't care. Jeremy Stoneface. Marjorie Taylor Greene, her Twitter was permanently banned and Facebook suspended. I love that because that bitch just spreads. Is it misinformation or disinformation? Which one's the one that you are knowingly spreading? Do you guys remember? I know there's a difference.
I think that's misinformation. I think disinformation. No, she's spreading disinformation because I think she knows what she's saying is false and doesn't care. Misinformation is saying something but getting it wrong.
Yeah, that sounds right. She's just an idiot, so I don't know that she knows she's spreading wrong stuff. I think she likes the conspiracy theories, so whatever. Let's see. Oh, the lawsuit filed against the Jets and the Giants for claiming they are New York teams. Did we talk about that?
A little bit, and that was kind of funny.
It is funny. I mean, but that's been the case since forever. I mean, they've always played in like East Rutherford, right? They've never played in New York City, I don't think. So
way back in the day, I think they were in the city.
Right. I think they used to be like in the Meadowlands or somewhere like that. But
Meadowlands are in New Jersey.
Oh, no. Oh, that's where they're at now. No, what was I going to say? shit. I think they used to, it was like a horse track place they used to run up there.
They,
you know what I'm talking
they
about?
used to play in the city, I think, back in the day, back in
Yeah.
30s, 40s,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah. Or
All right. The guy during that huge snowstorm in Virginia, this was about probably a month or two ago. A guy was charged $400 by Uber because it was snowing. That's kind of fucked.
Well,
like, I don't take a lot of
Because he
Ubers.
got
Yes, I know.
trapped
Yeah,
on the
but
highway for 14 hours.
but how is that his fault? And why would he need to be charged extra fucking money? I mean, that, yeah, I get. Go ahead.
The driver's still stuck there too, right?
Right, but how is that on that guy? That's kind of bullshit. Getting charged $400 extra. I don't know.
Did he expect the heat to still be on? I mean, this guy running his car to keep the car warm. I mean, who's supposed to pay for it though? I mean, that's the guy's not on the freeway at that time if he's not picking up an Uber, somebody to drive.
Yeah, maybe not.
I mean, the bill's excessive, but how do you do it then? What is okay?
I don't know. If I'm quoted a fee, I expect to pay that fee, but that's me.
You are so much per hour and mile.
No, when you take an Uber, you're quoted an amount and you pay that amount. I mean, I've never been stuck in an Uber though.
That amount can change though.
That's why I don't take Ubers. I guess I drive my own fucking
It's an
car.
estimated amount, I believe.
Jeremy, didn't you put this on there? Did we talk about the anti-work Reddit and the movement with the unions and workers' rights? We talked about that, didn't we? Or no? I think that I think you put it on there.
We voted on my contract yesterday.
Oh yeah,
I got the results yet. My company is moving towards setting up for locking us out as of Monday night, Tuesday, if we vote no.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jeremy's going to be unemployed. All right.
That's
going to have more time for the podcast.
something. I might be driving Ubers. $400. That doesn't sound so bad.
DirecTV dropping OAN, One America News. I think I love that because I think One America News is a fucking bunch of conspiratorial crazies. Even though there was this one clip where they did shut down, I think Mike Lindell when he started going off on a rant. My pillow. Any thoughts on that?
Don't even know what that is.
Oh, it's like the right wing. Like Fox News is like right wing news. OAN is right. It's like as far right as you can go. News network. No, never heard of it. No.
Oh yeah, that's kind of like only news they play up in Dutch Harbor, Alaska. So it's terrible. And like you go into some places like waiting rooms, and that's what they're playing. And again, you're talking to someone you consider himself on the more liberal, progressive, even though have some libertarian tendencies. So I kind of feel like I'm more center. If you think someone like me thinks Fox News is the right, OAN is like off the cliff, batshit loon. They will just get on there and says as trying to be legitimate news, the fashionistic Obama administration. You'd be like, what the fuck? Like there's just, they're not even pretending to be objective over there. So of course Trump loves it. So anyway.
I want to leave medical marijuana on there for maybe next week. Rudy Giuliani honorary degree revoked by Rhode Island College. I think that was because of the whole January 6th thing and everything that's been going on with him and his craziness.
Good.
I like that. That's good and succinct, Jeremy. Anything like that. John Stockton season ticket suspended by Gonzaga for not wearing a mask. I don't know college sports. Apparently he went there, right? I know who John Stockton is, Utah Jazz, blah, blah, blah.
He played in college
for 30 years.
Any thoughts on that? Do you think that's wrong? Do you think Gonzaga can do what they want to do because he's not following the rules and he's just being kind of a douche? Or
I don't know. Does their mask mandate say you got to wear a K95 or N95 or just any mask? Because even the CDC says if you're not wearing one of those, what's the use of wearing it?
Right. Again, I'm on two sides of this. I think we should get rid of all the mask things and just let people from themselves. But I also feel like it's funny how like before we have all these rules and now because people feel like it's because of COVID or whatever, the rules don't apply anymore. Yes, you may think a rule is bullshit, but that doesn't mean you just to get somebody knows the rules. The example I put is say you're a smoker. I like to smoke cigarettes. I'm a cigarette smoker. This place says you can't smoke. It's a hospital. Can't smoke. If I go in there and I start lighting up, is that tyranny? You'd be like, I can buy cigarettes. Cigarettes are legal. You can't arrest me for having cigarettes and I want to smoke. Why can't I smoke in this hospital? You guys are fascists. You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't we get upset about restrictions that society puts on all types of things? Again, I'm over the mask thing. I think we should just get rid of them because by now it's like, okay, people just going to want to do what they do. But this idea that people are being oppressed or whatever because an organization has restrictions, it's like, where were you guys when people were putting restrictions on? You get a ticket for not wearing a seatbelt. I didn't see people outraged and storming the Capitol because of that. It's just like, okay, now cops can just give you a ticket. Like, here you go. Here's the state making you pay a fine for doing something that you may or may not want to do in the name of safety. Weird. I just don't get it. I really want to sit these people down and be like, what else does the government require you to do that you're doing every single day? And they might fine you or whatever, but you're not up in arms in the street about. It's just pick a lane. I don't know. Sorry, ranting. Good.
I thought Jeremy was about to go off there, but he was just yawning. So
no, good.
That's fine. I thought Jeremy was like psyching himself up to be like, but no, he didn't say all that. All right, so let's see. San Jose, the first city to require gun owners to pay a fee and carry liability insurance. Again, I think that's cool because I think guns are kind of a scourge, but that's me. So
I'm for the insurance, not for paying a fee. You should be able to buy a gun, whatever you want, whatever. But if a city, a state, or whatever, why do I have to get insurance for my car? Why can't I just buy a car and drive it? Why does the government force me in order to operate this legal thing that I bought, forcing me to buy insurance? We've accepted that. And if a state or a city says, hey, you got insurance, I don't believe in the fee though, because if I pay for the gun and I pay the taxes on the gun, I've purchased it and I've paid whatever taxes on it. So it should not be a fee in order to own something that's legal. I think that's
like your car registration.
I think that's kind of bullshit too. I think that's kind of well, no, because most, there is something where if that's different. That's a registration. They're just saying you have to have a fee just to have the gun, which then they should call it registration as opposed to a fee. That's what I'm saying. I'm for gun registration too.
I don't register your car without paying a fee. I just had to do it.
Right. Well, I'm just saying if in that case, don't call it a fee, call it registration. You have to register it, which then some states they don't have any registration for it. But San Jose is just, okay, you have to register your gun. And if you have a gun, you have to have some kind of liability insurance. And no different from a car. But, people are up and it's my gun. It's my Second Amendment. It's like, okay. I don't see this ending well. I don't no hope for the future. But anyway.
All right, so that got rid of, all the topics that we didn't really want to talk about, but hey, the list is clear, so that's our B block.
I got a topic for the C block.
Oh, yeah. I got so many topics for the C block, but we'll do yours because I want you to have a say.
We'll start with Jeremy's.
Yeah, all right. We'll come back. We've been listening to Usual Saints. We'll be right back.
Be a C block.
Hi, this is Fred Davenport. Listen to the Usual Saints on your favorite way of getting a podcast.
All right, C block. Let's do this, Jeremy.
Welcome back to the Usual Saints. I'm Mike D here with Jeremy and Saint. Jeremy, what's this glorious topic?
I didn't say it was glorious. Shut the fuck up. All right, so I went golfing today, and
oh my god, I'm bored already.
Yeah,
fuck up. It's just me and a guy I work with. So usually, you guys don't golf. Maybe I don't know. Saint, you a golfer?
No.
Not surprised. All right, I
because he's black.
Kid. No, because he's on a boat half the year, dumbass.
Tiger Woods. Let's go.
Anyway, we were out there golfing. They put us with two other guys, just random guys. And this one guy's probably got to be 75 years old. And I'm like, man, how you doing? Oh, just chit chatting, waiting to go out and start our turn. He's like, I'm like, you from around here? No, this is the end of my bucket list. End of your bucket list? What do you mean? It's like, this is the last day. It's the last day of what I need to do. This is the last golf course I need to play. Because I've played every course that any golf major's ever been played on. I've played every course that every senior golf major's ever been played on, except for this course. And then he also mentions he played every golf course in the U.S., every top 100 course in the U.S., and top 100 course in the world. This guy has played golf on every one of these courses. Apparently, there was a senior PGA championship held in Port St. Lucie back in one in the 60s and one in the 70s. I don't know why the fuck it was here, but apparently it was. So this guy, his bucket list was to play on all these courses. And today, he's like 75 years old. Today was the last course he needed to get to, complete his bucket list. And it just got me thinking about, hey, well, one, that guy must have some fucking money because that can't be cheap to travel the world to play on all these fucking courses. Some of them thousands of dollars. Some of them you can't pay to play on. You have to know someone, like fucking Augusta in Georgia. You got to know somebody to play there. So this guy probably has some money, probably has some connection. But just, if money and time weren't an object, what's on your bucket list?
First, let me say, Mike, you owe Jeremy an apology because this was way more interesting a topic than I thought he was going to talk about. And I'm like, this is pretty good. Like, first of all, did you ask him any more questions? Like, what he did? What was his most interesting?
Much.
Okay. All right.
He wasn't a talker. We were sitting in our car asking, like, I wonder what the fuck this guy did for a living,
Right.
That shit ain't cheap. But how do you say, hey, how much fucking money do you have? It's kind of a, in your face question. So he wasn't wanting to chat much. So, and he was actually going to play golf again this afternoon at 75 fucking years old. He's going to play 36 holes instead of 18. And I fucking hurt standing up out of bed after 18 holes. So what the fuck? But it was just, we were sitting there like, fuck. I mean, the top 100 courses in the world, that's got to hit at least 5 continents. You got to, you're fuck. That's not cheap.
Are you typing that in right now too, Mike? Top 100 golf courses in the world?
Oh no, I don't give a shit about golf courses or this guy. But
man, I love you too. I love the dynamic between you two. You two could just do a variety, an odd couple, whatever, tourney around the horn. No, not around the horn, or pardon the interruption type thing where you two just like, I hate you. I hate you too. All right. Talk to you next week, buddy. All right, buddy. But go ahead. Sorry.
No, I mean, I just don't give a shit. But if you're talking about the bucket list thing, I mean, I guess I want to go places, have a threesome would be fun.
With which 2 guys?
Whatever, whoever I want, whoever agrees that it's consensual, right? Okay. So I want to go to Ireland. I want to go to, Australia. I would like to see Alaska, Canada. I want to go to, I want to go to Antarctica. It's always one of my things has always been like diving in Antarctica. Would be awesome. Yeah.
You can dive in Antarctica.
You wear a dry suit.
Does that just fall under the generic travel bucket list? Or do you consider like each place that you need to go a separate, but obviously this guy had it all planned out where it's like, I need to hit every single course in the world, but do you consider travel just as a generic thing, or are you talking each individual place?
I know I want to go to each of those places, but is it going to happen? I don't know. We'll see. If I can get my debts paid off and start saving up some fucking money for a change, and that way I can take some trips. So that's one of my goals. I guess beyond that, I mean, do I have? I used to want to skydive. Now I think I'm too scared. Plus, I weigh too much at the moment. I don't know. I'd like to be like on Amazing Race or Survivor or Big Brother, but is that going to happen? Probably not.
Applied?
I feel like I applied one time for Survivor, but I feel like maybe I started it and didn't finish because that seems like something I would do. So
I'm about to say you can just keep pumping at those buffets. You can just keep applying them. I'm pretty sure there's thousands of people who do the same thing just every year, try to get on Survivor or The Amazing Race. Even though I've never watched The Amazing Race.
Amazing Race is fun. Yeah.
I've seen some of the stuff. I've seen a couple. I always check out before they get to I'm like, I get it. And I get why it's popular. It's just not.
I always thought doing it with Jeremy would be fun, but I think he'd be too scared to do most of the stuff. Plus, he's a little out of shape now. How by the way, what shape was that 75-year-old in? I bet skinny, the little guy, right?
He was on the skinnier side. He had like the hunchback thing going on that some older people get.
Yeah, I want to try to avoid that shit. That's one of my fucking bucket lists. I try to correct my posture whenever I can. I don't want to be a hunchback when I'm 75 years old if I make it that far.
He didn't hit the ball very far, but it fucking went where he wanted it to go most times. So that's
there you go.
Half the battle right there.
Saint, you got any bucket list?
Yeah, I'll go. Since it's a Jeremy question, I guess we'll let Jeremy go last. I do. But first off, I wish I had like a passion. Like some people are like that, like his passion, obviously. And I guess you don't know what he does for a living, but obviously this guy's passion is golf. And he's like, I'm going to play on every single golf course in the world or top 100 golf course. And every golf course has ever been a PGA and just get to the end of it. Props to that guy. But for me, it's, I have a bunch of travel places. I want to go to Dubai, which I want to know if one of the top courses there has to be by now, right? They probably paid enough money to get one of the top golf courses in the world. But I want to go to Dubai. I want to, and this has changed. Before I used to want to go to everywhere in Russia and stuff. Now I'm like, I can skip all those Eastern European places. Don't even want to visit China, even though I do want to go to Japan. So besides travel, items on my bucket list. I want to write a book that gets published, a graphic novel that gets published. And nowadays, and of course, I'm just like you, Mike, kind of thinking, are these things attainable? I may switch, even if it's self-published. I guess that counts. If it ends up on somewhere where someone can purchase it and buy it who is not a family member, that should be the what the requirement is going to be. So, book, graphic novel, some type of documentary, movie, whatever, feature film that is longer than an hour, 15 minutes. One bucket list I think is never going to happen now. I actually wanted to go on some type of tour, whether it be, and I guess maybe if the book thing happens, it can still happen, but I want to go on a tour where I have a designated amount of US cities to go to where I am either DJing, providing something, or selling something. Like I'm going on a tour for some type of money to be compensated, not just like, hey, I'm going to jump in the car and go see a bunch of US cities. I want to go on like a tour that gives me some kind of financial benefit, if that's the way to say it. Whether before I wanted to be like a DJ, I know there's some DJs that would hook up with a rapper, so to speak, and you go on a tour. Or if it's like a book tour, because I'm going to different cities to sell a book or a graphic novel, or Kevin Smith, where I have a new movie coming out and I'm just going to go to a bunch of cities and premiere it, something. So that's a bucket list. And then after that, I used to want to skydive, but now I don't know. The wife doesn't want me because she's too scared of it. I did get inside a fighter jet, so cross that off the bucket list. I did go to Comic-Con. After that,
you got
that's
in a
about
fighter
it.
jet and flew, or
Technically, yes. At one point, I technically was in control of an F-16. Now, the way it goes is the pilot, I'm sitting in the back, so it's a trainer. I'm in the back, pilot's in front, and he's like, all right, you want to handle the stick for a little bit? I'm like, okay. And this isn't like what you think, like Top Gun in between your legs. And it's like, basically, there's a stick. Let me adjust the camera. There's a stick that's right there, and it's to the side. So imagine it's more like right here, and it only moves about a quarter to half an inch, and it's all pressurized. So if you move it this way, it goes there. You move it to the right, it goes this way. And so, my, I wish I still have the photo, but I wish I remember his name on top of my head. I got to find that photo. But he's like, okay, Airman Saint, well, I'll let you control for a little bit. It's like, so Airman Saint, you hand on the stick. It's like, yes, sir. He's like, okay, you have control of the plane. I was like, I have control of the plane. It's like, all right, give it a little to the left. And I did the left, and you feel it, and you can feel it. And then at first it's like, whoa, but after a while, you're like, oh, I get how this is. It's much more intuitive. And, I'm sure there's tons of training and shit, but you can see how it kind of plays kind of like a video game. So it's much easier for pilots to learn. And then it's like, okay, Commander so-and-so, you have control of the plane. He goes, okay, I have, just so you know who's in control, who's not. Basically, when he's in control, don't touch shit. When we're in control, move the stick around, got it up, down, give it a little go, and I'm sure he's right there and he can take control if I'm doing some wacky shit. But yeah, better than any roller coaster.
Commander Goose.
Yeah, I survived. Yeah.
Merlin was in the back seat.
What was the black guy's name afterwards?
Oh fuck, I don't remember the black guy's name.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was Maverick and Goose, and then Goose died. And then what was the new
Rio?
second seat he got? There's a black dude, right? With the glasses. If I'm remembering Top Gun correctly, I forget. Anyway,
that was Iron Eagle with Louis Gossett Jr.
No. Remember,
Underrated movie, excellent watch.
Agreed. No, it was Maverick. Val Kilmer was Iceman, right?
Yeah.
And it was Goose. And then when he said what?
Tim Robbins. I think Tim Robbins was in there, right?
Yeah, I think he was one of the bad guys, wasn't he? Or was he a good guy? I don't remember. Been a while.
He wasn't. He was one of the pilots. I don't remember what he did.
I'll figure it out. But yeah, I guess that that'd be my bucket list. Definitely book, graphic novel, movie, some travel, and after that, it's everything else I've either kind of like lost interest in or just don't care about anymore. So Jeremy.
Oh, and there are 5 continents. It looks like there's 1 course in South America, like 4 or 5 in Eastern Asia, like 7 or 8 in Australia, and then the rest in Australia and New Zealand, and then the rest are all in Europe and North America of the 100 in the world. But he did the 100 in the world and the 100 in US, and that's just fucking expensive. My bucket list, I'd like to go to Alaska and maybe see some whales and shit. Probably not not on Saints list to go sit around in the ocean in Alaska, but it might be in mine. That'd be fun.
Ooh, cage dive with great white sharks. I forgot about that. And go see blue whales in the Pacific Ocean. Thanks for reminding me, Jeremy.
This is a stupid topic, Mike. If you could stop interjecting.
No, the whole golf thing was stupid, but whatever. It's fine.
It's a fucking story. It led into the topic, you motherfucker. Anyway, I think I'd like to, see some of the U.S. I'd like to go to Europe and kind of, see some of the shit over there, but I'm not big on flying, so I'm not sure how well that's going to work out. Maybe I can find a cruise ship that's crossing the Atlantic.
Yeah, man. Titanic too.
Going the other way, it should be fine. Yeah, I shit like that. I don't have a lot of, things that, if I don't do this, my life won't be complete. Not a thrill guy. So it was just, to me, that was just really cool to see somebody who took on something, such a monumental thing and finished it. And it's impressive to me. Not to Mike, I understand. That's all I got. Oh, death for the week, Jeremy Giambi. Anybody?
Is he related to that other Giambi?
Jason? Yes, they're brothers.
Yeah.
Jeremy killed himself.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yep. Self-inflicted gunshot.
Yes, it was suicide.
Yesterday, the day before. Huh?
Suicide, right?
Yeah. I don't know. He was part of the whole steroid thing back in the day. Him and his brother were both kind of rumored to have taken steroids, and I don't know. Played baseball. I don't know how much concussion, traumatic brain injury stuff would be a problem in baseball, but it happens. So I don't know.
Could have just been a mental health thing.
Yeah. But anytime you hear of a pro athlete, committing suicide now, it's, how many concussions did he have in his career?
Yeah. Speaking of death, Bob Saget's cause of death was revealed: head trauma. That is fucking crazy. They're saying that they think he may have hit it on the headboard and just not thought anything of it and went to sleep, and that was it. That's fucking nuts. So the big topic this week in all those articles was you have to take any kind of head injury seriously. If it's just banging your head a little bit, don't go to sleep right after, that's just crazy to me, man.
Yeah.
That was just super sad to hear. And which is crazy because I don't know, in November, December, I had it where you ever have the thing where you're wearing socks and I'm coming down the stairs and it's slippery. And my wife has done this too. I slipped on the third or second to last step, slipped straight back. No, I didn't catch myself at all. Head hit the back of the stairs. I rolled to the ground and was stunned. Yeah, I probably was concussed. It's just on the ground for a good 2 to 3 minutes, just woozing, couldn't move. And just to think about how it was probably just hit his head, didn't think about it, laid down, probably I'm just going to sleep this off and just never wake up. That's super sad, but glad to hear. As glad as you can, but I'm not glad he died, but glad to hear it had nothing to do with drugs or alcohol or, a suicide or anything like that, but still real sad.
I heard he sucked dick for glow once, but that could have been just a rumor.
It wasn't that kind of head injury.
No. Okay.
But to be fair, Jeremy, who amongst us hasn't? Come on.
Me.
What?
Jeremy just does it for fun. He doesn't do it for blow.
That's right. I knew that shit was coming. Teed that one up for you.
No, I'm not rich enough to have stairs in my house, so I don't know what it's like to slip in my socks on stairs like you two motherfuckers.
Mine are carpeted, so it hasn't been an issue yet.
Futurama was renewed for a third time. I guess for a second time after cancellation. Did you guys like Futurama?
It's going to be weird with all the characters and actors looking so much older now.
What a dork. It's animated. The biggest thing is
I know what the fucking show is.
If they can't get Bender back, John DiMaggio, because right now he's not back. He's the only one not signed. That's going to be the biggest thing. And fans are actually up in an uproar about it, as I think I am too. Pay the fucking guy. He deserves the money. He's great.
Wait. See, I fall on both sides. I was just about to say the only controversy is, and I love Futurama. I always thought that it was some of the best very what's the way to say it, their jokes are super clever the way they construct them and put them out there. I thought for a while Futurama was better than The Simpsons. I thought the writing was just much wittier and sharper than what was going on in The Simpsons, where a lot of Simpsons just become Homer's is a dummy, where Futurama always was very witty and very I don't know what word am I, clever, witty.
No, it's sardonic. It's sarcastic. It's different than the Simpsons team. I think it was always better than The Simpsons. I was a Simpsons fan. I stopped watching somewhere in the teens seasons. I don't know, somewhere in the early 2000s, something like that.
When's the last time you watched a Simpsons episode, a new Simpsons episode?
Yeah, I mean, that was back when I lived in Orlando, probably, or maybe no. When I moved to Vero, I was probably still taping it, but
I could see like 20 years at least, if not more.
I've caught some just randomly when I was like at home and like, oh, Simpsons on. I was just like, is it still good? And it's like you can tell there's still comedic writing, but it's not how it used to be. But I never ever felt that way about Futurama. It always felt like no matter what they were spoofing or whatever, whether it was science, whether it was, alien races or whatever, it, kind of had that smart and never like, I kind of feel like I'm afraid. Are you guys fans of Rick and Morty?
No, I couldn't get into it. I tried a few episodes. I don't know.
Jeremy, no. Rick and Morty was, especially season 1 was hilarious, but it was much more, I guess, adult and much like sharper with it. But now that we're getting into the later seasons, they're kind of relying more on just the shock value and a lot more of the fuck yous and stuff like that. But I never felt that way about Futurama. Anyway, that goes to say, I want Futurama back. Would love to watch new episodes, but we don't really know what his demands are. So if everyone is coming back, but there's one person who's not, it makes me feel like they either want a bigger slice than everyone else. And it's kind of like the production, like say everyone's coming back for, say a number, $100,000 an episode. I don't know. Maybe that's high, maybe that's low. And he's like, well, I want 150. I want 200. Should the studio just be like, okay, even though everyone else is okay with it? But then B, they could be lowballing them. And if that's the case, well, then fuck that. Everyone should get the same. That's why when fans automatically jump in defense of these situations, like, do we know what the contract negotiations are? That's just where I'm coming from it, Mike.
No, I mean, I understand. I doubt everyone's getting paid the same on the show, but that'd be good if they were. They all are voice talents on the show. There's not like one star. It's pretty much a cast of characters that have the same amount of time throughout the show. You got Billy West, you got Katie Seagal, Phil Lamar. Who's the who plays? Fuck, I'm gonna forget that.
But wouldn't you say though? I mean, again, and maybe they should take the Simpsons approach where the main actors all decide, hey, let's band together and all get paid the same. But on that show, if you told me Billy West and Katie Seagal got paid a little bit more or got paid per episode, that would fall in line because you would say that they are the two quote unquote leads. Yeah, I understand everyone gets equal time, but maybe what's his name feels like Bender is a lead, a third lead on the show. I don't know.
I feel like he is. I feel like Bender gets not most of the laughs, gets a lot of the laughs. Whenever he comes on, yeah, a lot of it is kind of almost sticky, but as long as the writers are doing their job, I don't know. I hope they can work things out. Having someone else voice Bender doing an imitation of John DiMaggio's Bender would be weird. It's kind of like on Big Mouth, different situation though, where they replaced Jenny Slate, who was doing, or Jenny Slate, I think it's Slate, who was doing the black Jewish girl character because she wasn't black, but she's Jewish. So I'm like, can't she still do the character? But it was during that whole time where they're like, if you're not, a person of color and you're playing a person of color, or, you're not gay and you're playing a gay, then, it doesn't work. So they brought in, I don't even know her name. I think it's Ido Ayumbi or something. I know I'm wrong. I know we can look it up. We have Google, blah, blah, blah. She does a fine, but it's an imitation of Jenny Slate's voice of that character because they don't want it to be too different. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. I'm excited to have it back, though.
You want my opinion on that whole situation?
Yeah, go ahead. I feel like we talked about it before, but go ahead. If we didn't, go ahead, man.
My thing is, let's put a stopgap right now. Let's say I don't feel like you have to be gay to play a gay character. I don't necessarily you have to be black to play a black animated character. What we should do is we should look around and be like, let's try to be more inclusive, period. Because you have some shows where it's every single voice talent is a white, straight person when there are tons of, it's like, again, we think it's the meritocracy. We just get the best people from the jobs. But it's like, you look around and it's like, you tell me a Phil Lamar or some of these other voice talent or a Cree Summer or someone can come in and voice some of these parts. It's like, again, we've already started production, we're doing this. All you can say is like, hey, we're going to try to do better, be more inclusive, and back up on it. The don't just rely on the same casting directors. Don't just rely on the same people. But when you look around, it's like you got no diversity on this show whatsoever. And it's like don't be surprised if people call you out for it. Be like, you know what? We should have done a better job. We'll do a better job going forward. That's all you can ask for. And it should be like, yeah, if we have a black character, maybe first let's look for people who actually represent the people we're doing for. And then if you said, hey man, we looked, nobody really worked. This is what we're doing. And you can be like, we had an honest look, but it just sounds like, we'll just get a bunch of people we know. And then you look around, it's like, yeah. Even for our black and Asian characters, we're picking, white people. It'd be the same. I'd feel the same way if there was an Asian character, but you went and got a black actress. I'd be like, did you look for an Asian person first? Or let's just try to do better. Like, again, I don't want to retroactively, because that's just the worst of both worlds, I feel like. So there's a lot of me ranting.
Did bring up another question for me. Another classic show that I was probably watched every episode of for at least the first few years. When's the last time either one of you watched a new South Park episode?
I did. I've seen both the specials that were on Paramount Plus. I know they had the new episodes on my DVR. I just haven't watched it. The new season just started.
You still watch? Have you watched every episode?
Yep, seen every episode.
Damn.
I have not. When did I get back into it and why? So I didn't even know those two Paramount, were they good?
Yeah, it's just, they did them as adults. So, I mean, it was like 1 hour or 1 hour plus South Park episodes. And, it's like the return of COVID or, something like that, post-pandemic, post-COVID special or something like that. I forget exactly what they called it. It was fine. It wasn't like anything. No. It wasn't like the movie, in 1999, when it first came out and blew everyone away and was nominated for Oscars and all that kind of stuff. It was entertaining,
I for some reason, I don't even remember why it was, but I got back in season of South Park. It's the one where what's Kyle's dad's name?
Broflovsky. It's not Ike. That's
not
kid.
Kyle. The other one. No. Not Kyle.
It's Marsh. Fucking
Marsh.
What's his name? Randy Marsh.
Where he started selling weed.
Integrity Farms.
Integrity Farms. It was all weed, and it was like it was like an insider joke, and also had to deal with, I forget what the whole bit was, but that was pretty funny. And I went through that whole story arc. Yeah, Integrity Farms, where he was selling weed. And it was also like a commentary on if you're watching or something like that. But it was real meta, and I found it funny. So but I've skipped entire, like I said, I think I watched the first probably 6 or 7 seasons complete when they were on Comedy Central. And then after that, sporadically. And I didn't even know I saw about the deal they had on Paramount Plus, but I haven't watched any of it. But yeah, I saw that story arc, and for some reason, I don't know what I was doing. I must have just been home or bored or something. But I watched that entire story arc. So
I did. I'm wrong. I actually did watch the season opener. I think it's season 25 or something at this point. It was Pajama Day. Yeah. So, it came out in 97 is when it first came out. So, it's been around for a minute. It's still entertaining, whatever.
It must be good to be those guys. Everything's like in-house, so they can turn around episodes within like a week or two. So they're always very topical, but everything's in-house. Just sit back and think of the episodes. And it feels kind of like they do what we're doing in a podcast, but just put it in the story form and send it out. And it's like, there you go.
They do it even faster than that. They do things within a week. Like, they might have like storylines planned out, but if something topical comes up, they can pump that shit out with their writer's room and animate it in time for the next Wednesday or whenever it premieres. So
crazy.
Yeah, their turnaround's impressive.
Yeah, once they got past the cardboard cutouts and did everything, in computer graphics and everything, it's so fast now. They can do whatever they want. And that writer's room is. Go ahead.
I still remember watching Team America. That was
Team America. Yeah, I love Team America.
I had ever watched in my life.
I want to watch it again. I want to watch it with my kid, but I can't yet. So, if ever.
That still surprises the shit. I remember having birthday parties for our 4-year-old, and Mike's bringing beer and cursing, but his daughter's not allowed to watch that shit. It just blows my mind.
And there's like puppets shitting on each other and sex and things like that. It's weird.
That's in the uncut version.
I don't know, man, but that's a great. I was playing the soundtrack for her the other day because she likes a lot of anime, so she she listens to a lot of people singing in Japanese. So I put on "I'm So Ronery." And I'm singing along to it. I was like, oh, this is great. Yeah, Matt Damon. I had to remind Heather that Matt Damon he wasn't in it, but his image was in it. Matt Damon. Oh shit.
What a great movie. Anyway.
I feel like do you guys have to go? Can we finish the topics or talk a little bit more or what?
I don't have to go. I could, if you want to wrap up. If we have
a couple minutes, if you want to run through your list.
Well, I mean, it shouldn't take too long. We talked a little bit about in USSR about Kenobi coming out, or Obi-Wan Kenobi, I guess it's called Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. So that's May 25th. You guys excited about that? I'm kind of excited because I know Vader's definitely coming back. So that'd be interesting to see that. There's going to be 3 different people playing Vader from an article I saw today, including Hayden Christensen, which would be interesting because I've developed not a love or anything, but I've developed an appreciation for his take on Anakin at the end there, and we'll see what his Vader is like.
Why?
I don't know. Like, when it first came out, you're like, he's kind of really cheesy. Not necessarily Attack of the Clones, maybe a little bit, but more so in like Revenge of the Sith. You go back and watch like the Battle on Mustafar. You don't think the Battle on Mustafar is actually a little bit better now that you're like 20 years removed? No?
I think, and I mean, we talked about this in Mandalorian and Boba. I think for me, it's been the Clone Wars and Rebels and all the animated stuff that has done a complete, a reclamation job for the prequels. And I mean, for the movies, I kind of blame Lucas for it because I'm like, he seemed stiff, wooden. And then he did that. What was that one movie where he could like teleport all over the place?
Oh,
Jumper. And I seen him act like that and he was fine. I was like, oh, so this guy can act. It was just Lucas and all that CG and just, Lucas can't direct actors anymore. So, but I thought those performances are just, I go back and watch them and you can just tell like, what's his name? The guy who plays Obi-Wan.
Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor is just so much better than everyone else on screen. And even he is kind of wooden too. But Ewan McGregor is out acting everybody, from Natalie Portman. And it's mostly Lucas's fault, but but Clone Wars make me a fan of Anakin. Like, this is the Anakin we should have got. But anyway.
No, I agree.
I'd be interested to see it.
I agree. It's very stilted, like you said. It's very like proper, and then you're probably right. That's what Lucas wanted. And do I think it was a great choice? No, but like I said, I don't say I love it. I just feel like I feel better about it now. Let's see. 23 years removed from Phantom Menace, 20 years removed from Attack of the Clones, and 17 years removed from Revenge of the Sith than I did at the time of seeing the films. Although I remember seeing that midnight showing, because you had to go see a midnight showing. They didn't have 10 p.m. showings of Phantom Menace. And that whole fucking audience, I mean, I don't care how much it's become despised a little bit after the fact, that audience was pumped as shit to see that movie.
Yeah, because they finally got Star Wars. And again, Fate of the Duel, that's what it's called, right?
Duel of the Fates.
Duel of the Fates. It's awesome with, Darth Maul and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. It's awesome, but it's everything else surrounding it. But when the movie ends like that, you're like, that was badass. It's Star Wars, lightsabers. And then you go back and watch, Jar Jar, fuck Jar Jar, so.
Jeremy?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping Jar Jar will be there as the Sith Lord, but other than that, it'd be interesting to see where they take the story. Hopefully they have a better plan than they did Boba Fett.
They're going to bring Darth Maul into it. I'm looking forward to the trailer. I think are they going to premiere a trailer at the Super Bowl, you think? I don't know. We'll see, I guess. That'd be good. All right. Snoop Dogg buying Death Row, after all the controversy and everything, Death Row was like, I mean, no matter what you want to think about Suge Knight and what he probably did to those artists, they put out a shit ton of hits, back in the 90s. Either you have any thoughts on Snoop Dogg? I don't know if he's planning on resurrecting it and trying to restore it to its former glory or what.
Again, this is another thing where I kind of need more info, but if he's getting the name and getting whatever masters that Death Row Records still owns, if he gets ownership of some of the records, that'd be pretty cool. But just getting the name, again, these names, you find like a lot of labels from the past when they get into financial troubles, all this, they just get bounced around from one conglomerate buys them to another. And they're just, a part of package deals that these huge corporations buy up just so they have the name. Like, I don't even know the company that owns Sports Illustrated anymore. And now they're farming out Sports Illustrated. They're just slapping it on different items in order to sell things, and now NFTs. And if you know how I feel about that. So, but if he actually gets control of the music, I think that would be pretty cool. And for him to actually go from being an artist to ownership and being able to remix and remaster and put some of those songs out. And I think if he ever wants to do like a documentary about Death Row from his point of view, or if, you know, they want to come out with a Netflix series about it and they actually have, you know, ownership of the music, because you can't do a documentary about it without having the actual songs. So if they get that, I think it opens possibilities. So I think it'd be pretty cool.
From what I'm reading in NPR and on and CNN, it just says he has control of the brand. So he might not have control of the catalog.
Right. Which, I mean, if you got the brand name, like he's going to make a new Death Row Records, but how many people care? It's like, it's really the music that matters. So,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
The catalog is, you know, worth a lot more money than just the name of the brand.
Right.
I think somebody said at one point Mattel owned Death Row Records.
They did. I think it was Hasbro or Mattel or one of those two.
Yeah. It's like, what the fuck?
All right. Let's see. Dave Chappelle, did you see this whole thing, this town in Ohio where he lives? The town passed a measure saying that they had to include affordable housing in all these housing developments they were building around his home. And he basically shut that shit down, first via a Zoom meeting and then at the actual meeting in person. Part of me gets it, like, yeah, you don't want like crime and everything that is associated with affordable housing coming closer to your home, but you want to hope that that's not the case and that you're actually helping people out. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys have any definitive opinions on this? I thought it was kind of shitty, but
go ahead, Jeremy, because I got more to add.
He has like he has a very interesting relationship with the town.
Yeah,
where he's funded things throughout the town, but kind of in exchange for, hey, leave me the fuck alone. Don't bother me. Just let me live here and, you know, kind of do my thing. And I guess, you know, doesn't want people encroaching on his life, you know, where he lives. The whole thing about being against low income housing or insisting that developments have to include it. I mean, nobody wants, you know, the projects next to their brand new $1 million house, you know, but yeah, hey, if you want to build that brand new $1 million house or $1 million development, maybe you build a low income housing over here, you know, on this plot of land, not necessarily directly next to each other. I don't know which part of it he was objecting to. I didn't read the article.
So I did a little more investigating because this was something I was interested in. And of course, you see the headlines. I'm like, is there some, you know, like all of us now, we should be, I feel like you can't just read the headlines because there's usually a little bit more to it. So I wanted to be completely fair to Dave Chappelle and to the people, you know, making these accusations. So what it comes about is, you know, he lives in this town, which is kind of east of Dayton, Ohio, and it's not a very big town. But throughout the years, it's a more well-off community, and he owns a farm, basically a huge amount of land at the edge of the town. And, like you said, he's invested heavily in this town because, you know, it's not the city. It's the way it is. So basically a developer bought 50 something acres that on another side, basically on the opposite side of the town. And from what they were putting out and saying what they want to do with the land to develop it, they were going to make pretty much single family homes, which are around $300,000. And from the business side of things, they were also going to include some apartments, which were wanted to be affordable housing. And a lot of developers do this for tax reasons to get benefits from the federal government, such and such. And Chappelle and a lot of people have come in. And here's the problem I have. It's, you know, someone legally buys something and they go through all the steps to do whatever they want to do with their investment, their property, whatever. Then they go to a, city council or a board or whatever to get approved from it. And then it seems like he's joined the not in my backyard part of the group. Like no matter what, there's always an excuse. Now, what Chappelle pushed back against, he goes, I'm not against affordable housing. What he's saying is this hasn't been well thought out. It's going to bring traffic. It's this, it's that. It's the typical things that people who say not in bad backyard. he might not be against affordable housing, but he doesn't want where he lives to change. You understand what I'm saying? There is a difference, but it's the same result. Like some of the people are like, oh, I'm in favor of affordable housing, but the traffic. Oh no, we don't want more traffic here. So you come to these like, and someone made a good point. He goes, again, this person wasn't against Chappelle or against this, but he made the point that since this community, and probably because Chappelle has invested a lot, the housing in that community has gone up. Rentals have gone up to where a lot of people who work in the service industry, who work in that town, can't afford to live there anymore. And a lot of senior people who used to live in that community, they're getting priced out too. And it's happening, you say the same thing's happening in Florida. I don't know if you guys been paying attention, how some people's rent has been going crazy in the last few months or whatever. And that's basically what's happening in this Ohio community. But a lot of the people are saying they're coming up with all these excuses why, and the developer is going to develop housing there anyway. They're just going to take away the low income or, the affordable housing part of it. So they're going to build some kind of single family homes there. And to an extent, yes, you understand how some people say, hey, we have a community and we don't want the community to change. And this proposal hasn't been well thought out. And this is going to change the structure of our town. But then it's like, well, where do you want people to live? Where are people supposed to go? So I've seen both sides of it and try to be fair about it. But it seems to me that Chappelle is kind of, in an indirect way, he's joining the not in my backyard, because like you said, a lot of the people said, no. We want affordable housing. That's fine. But what's this going to do to our traffic? Or what's this going to do to our schools if too many people enter our school? Right now, their school system, it says they're under, for whatever Ohio is, that their average class size is actually well below what they can sustain. And of course, if I lived in the community like that, I'd be like, yeah, I kind of like that. And I understand that. But it's like, so if people can't build new houses and people can't buy homes, where are they supposed to live? So I'm trying to be completely fair about it, but it does feel like he's falling into that not in my backyard kind of situation.
All right. So here's the final topic. This is going to go quick because I don't think we have any opinions, because I haven't even seen half of this shit. The Oscar nominations. Oscars are going to be March 27th. Do either of you even watch the Oscars? I know I do. And that's the day I come back from New York. So I'll be watching it that night when I get back. Do either of you even watch the Oscars anymore?
I've usually been on the boat, but I do, because I'm so interested in film and stuff, I do pay attention, but actually watching it is never a real big concern of mine. So
when is it?
March 27th, Sunday. It's always Sunday. Well, usually. So I know Seth Rogen put out something that someone said something about, the decline in Oscar viewership and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, who cares? Maybe people just don't want to watch it. So I don't know. I haven't even seen most of these movies. Actor in the leading role, you see Javier Bardem, Benedict Cumberbatch, Andrew Garfield, Will Smith, Denzel Washington. I've seen none of those movies. Have you guys seen any of those?
Nope.
Let me look again. Sorry. Let me make this bigger because it's, I know I have is The Power of the Dog. Yeah, I did see that. Tragedy of Macbeth. Macbeth is so hard to get into. And I have not seen King Richard, which actually maybe I watched that tonight. And Being the Bardos.
I want to watch that one. That looks good.
What?
King Richard.
Yeah. I do want to watch that. Tick, Tick, Boom. No. And Being the Ricardos, I started and didn't finish. So the only one I finished was Power of the Dog. Again, this is half the reason why people don't watch this. People haven't seen these movies. They're not just. Right. But go ahead.
All right, actor in a supporting role, Ciaran Hinds. Is that how you say his name? Ciaran. That's that weird looking dude that's in everything. He was in Rome, most famously, probably. Troy Kotsur. Don't even know who he is. Jesse Plemons. I like him. J.K. Simmons. I didn't even know he was nominated. Interesting. And Cody Smith McPhee. Have not seen any of those
Clemens
either.
Is Friday Night Lights, right?
Yeah, he's a little fatter now, but he's a great actor.
So two of the guys in Power of the Dog. Say again.
What is Power of the Dog about?
Man,
it's a Western, right?
Okay, real quick. Do you guys have any plans on watching it? Do you care if I spoil it?
Yeah, I do. My wife wants to see it, so I'm planning on watching.
Okay, it's about a Western town. It's about two brothers, Benedict Cumberbatch and Jesse Plemons, and they move to Montana and stuff happens. So I'm not going to do it.
All right, moving on.
I've heard good things about it. So
it's wait. You're going to be confused. Let me say this. It's one of these movies where you might be confused. So it's good for a second. Well, I didn't watch the second time because I kind of figured out. And then I'm like, I'm just going to go online and see if I was right. And I was right. But it is kind of confusing what takes place. It's not a straightforward, here's what happens. It's like the movie wants you to figure things out. I'll say that much.
was it more confusing than There Will Be Blood?
Yes. And I love There Will Be Blood. To me, There Will Be Blood. I love that movie. That movie is like, I drink your, There Will Be Blood is my shit. This is definitely more like, wait a minute. And it's one of those, okay, do I have to go back and watch it, or am I going to the internet and figure out what happened? So, all
right, we'll see. Again, I've not seen one fucking movie yet. Actress in the leading role, Jessica Chastain, Olivia Colman. Which one? Jessica Chastain. Okay. Yeah. Penelope Cruz, Nicole Kidman, Kristen Stewart.
Let's see. My wife and I caught parts of both these movies. The Lost Daughter. My wife watched that. She also watched Spencer. If they give her an Oscar for Spencer, it's just like she bought that one, because I get what they were going for, but I was watching with my wife. My wife's like, and I'm just like, that wasn't some like stellar. Yes, she's playing Princess Diana, but trust me, that wasn't like, I think the chick that played her in The Crown did a better job. This wasn't. If they give it to Kristen Stewart, it's just because, it's her time or whatever. But I don't think it'd be. Jessica Chastain should get it for Tammy Faye more than that. And I saw that movie. That movie was okay. It was interesting to see that Tammy Faye and Jim Baker.
Yeah. And isn't Andrew Garfield Jim Baker?
Did a great job. Yep.
Yeah. Actress in supporting role. Who's Jessie Buckley? That name sounds familiar, but I don't know. No.
Lost Daughter is
that's the one with Olivia Colman.
Yeah. No. The other one was in there was Dakota Johnson. So I don't know which one. Jessie Buckley. Oh, Jessie Buckley plays Olivia Colman when she's younger, because it's like a back and forth thing. It was okay. It was slow, but go ahead.
Okay. Ariana DeBose. I don't know who she is, but I think she was probably the lead in West Side Story. Maybe lead female.
Well, it's supporting. So.
Yeah, but she's maybe the lead female. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Judi Dench. Did she have 8 seconds of screen time this time? Remember when Shakespeare in Love, she won for like 8 minutes or something like that, or maybe even less than that.
Oh my God.
Kirsten Dunst.
Huh.
Yeah.
Power the dog.
Anjanui Ellis.
No, I'd have to. I do want to watch King Richard. I think maybe she plays their mother. But that Power of the Dog, I see why they think it's an Oscar film, but get out of here.
Interesting fact. I don't know if you guys saw this. This is the first time that 2 couples have been nominated in all 4 categories. So Jesse Plemons and Kirsten Dunst are a couple, and they're nominated in their respective categories. And Javier Bardem and Penelope Cruz are a couple, and they're nominated. So, animated feature film, Encanto. Which was great. Flea, I don't know what that is. Luca's, that Pixar film from last summer. I heard good things about Mitchell's versus the Machines, but I did not see it. And Raya and the Last Dragon. I did not see that. I feel like that was another Disney film.
Raya and the Last Dragon. One of these, I think Luca was a Pixar one. My kids saw it. I didn't. I still have to see that one. Raya and the Last Dragon, I saw. Pretty good. All but kind of... Actually, if you've seen, which is funny, if you've seen freaking, what's it called? Shang-Chi and the Last Rings. I think Awkwafina does the voice of the dragon in this one. And she's in Shang-Chi, and they're kind of surprisingly a little similar. I saw Encanto, and then we were just watching Flea. Flea's something about like Afghanistan. It's kind of like an adult animation thing. My daughter was watching it. I was like, I did see Mitchell's versus Machines. It's getting such rave reviews, and it might win again because, these guys, they did Spider-Verse and kind of has the same animation style as Spider-Verse. But my family, we were kind of like, and it had a different title, and it was going to be a different tone. And when it got sold to Netflix, I see someone said they kind of softened it up and made it a little more kid friendly, to where that's why it's not as interesting to me. But I don't know. I think either Flea or Mitchell's versus Machine is going to win. So
it is Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
No, it had a good story, but when they originally talked, because, when Spider-Verse came out, I devoured anything about Spider-Verse, and they were talking about what the next thing they were doing. And the name of it was supposed to be I forgot what the name of it, but it's supposed to be about a girl. She's an artist. And it sounded really interesting, but I think the name was Salvo or something. Then they changed it to Mitchell's versus the Machines. You get what I'm saying? Like, they Netflixed it, so you know exactly what this movie's going to be about. And I didn't think it was like, it's no Spider-Verse, put it that way.
All right. Cinematography. You got Dune, Nightmare Alley, Power of the Dog, Tragedy of Macbeth, and West Side Story. The only name I recognize on there is Janusz Kaminski, who's won a few times. I haven't seen any of them except for Dune. I think Dune was shot brilliantly, and so my vote would go there, but I don't know if that's fair to say without seeing the rest of them.
Jeremy?
Haven't seen a single movie on this list yet.
I seen Dune. Dune is great, but I think Dune you got to see on an IMAX. Again, what else? Tragedy of Macbeth. I started it, and it looks, from what I've seen, and again, because they're very they stick straight to the Shakespeare dialect, so it's very hard to watch, but it looks great. And Power of the Dog, it might get some other Oscars, but it shouldn't be cinematography. There's nothing that blew me away in that movie. And I haven't seen. We want to see Nightmare Alley. I haven't seen it yet, or West Side Story. So
Nightmare Alley's on HBO Max. We just haven't watched it yet.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we're gonna watch it soon.
Costume design, I always get confused. This is where they lose me. So Cruella, my daughter tried to get me to watch that. Apparently that had good costumes. Cyrano, I think that's the one with Peter Dinklage. Dune, Nightmare Alley, and West Side Story. Any thoughts?
None. Well, I've seen Dune, and haven't seen any of the others, but West Side Story is like, if I had to guess, this is probably going to go to Cruella, or probably not Dune either. They usually don't give it for sci-fi, even though they nominate it. I'm guessing either Cruella or Nightmare Alley. They always do a period piece. So.
Right. Directing, you got Kenneth Branagh for Belfast, Ryusuke Hamaguchi for Drive My Car, Paul Thomas Anderson for Licorice Pizza, Jane Campion, who's only she's the first woman to ever be nominated twice in the directing category. She did the piano in early 90s. For Power of Dog, and Spielberg, who's been nominated.
He win?
No, because Catherine Bigelow was the first woman to win a directing Oscar for Hurt Locker.
But piano won Best Picture, right?
I don't believe it did, honestly.
I know what Anna Paquin won, right?
Right, Anna Paquin won for Best Supporting. She was only like 10 or 11 or something then. I think it's probably going to go to Jane Campion for Power of the Dog, even though I haven't seen West Side Story. I want to see Licorice Pizza. I used to be such a P.T. Anderson snob, but I heard Licorice Pizza has just been okay. Drive My Car, I actually have that downloaded. I heard it's really interesting, but it's 3 hours long and it's in Japanese. So it's like, you got to really be in a mood to watch that. I heard that one's really just a really interesting film. But if I had to guess, I'm guessing this is where, if they ignore it everywhere else, they're probably going to give Power of the Dog for directing, which, again, it's fine. You'll see why they think it's an Oscar, blah, blah, blah. But I think this is the problem that some of the people in the Academy have choosing these type of films.
Still bothers me that just popular films are just discounted as they can't be the best film out there that year. And to me, that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. These nominations come from, each category goes to like the people who are registered in that category. So like the actors vote for the actors, the cinematographers vote for the cinematographers, and then the nominations based off their weird balloting system where you rank 1 to 10 or whatever. Everyone votes on the main nomination. So I don't know. Like I was saying, Spielberg is the first director, I think, nominated for 6 decades in a row. He's been nominated at least once, I think twice per decade usually.
Then you think how many people
bombed?
What's that?
Yeah, bombed.
West Side Story bombed.
I think, again, a remake that you're putting into theaters when obviously this should be, you should have thrown it on Apple or Disney Plus or HBO Max and just promoted the shit out of it. Hey, come see Steven Spielberg. But he's a purist. Got to go see it on a big screen, even though no one's going to pay all that money for popcorn and possibly parking to go see a remake of a musical. Just not one that deal with the times. I'm guessing Spielberg's on here because a lot of people are like, hey, it's Spielberg, we got to nominate him, blah, blah, blah. But I think Power of the Dog is a Netflix film. So To me, it's like, just get with the times. But yeah, popular. I'm trying to think what's the most popular movie. And of course, I mean, Spider-Man blew everything out. There's just no comparison.
I think we lost Saint.
Black Panther, I thought Infinity War or Endgame.
Yeah, Saint, you dropped out for a second. You were talking about Spider-Man blue. You were talking about Spider-Man blew everything away, and then you froze. And I was like, what?
Maybe he was just thinking.
I thought he was thinking. I thought he was taking a pause, so I let him talk. I let him pause for a minute.
I did say my internet is Let me see if I get rid of some of the stuff we got here. Oh no, I was saying Spider-Man.
Pornhub takes a lot of stuff up.
Yeah,
I don't want to say how I know.
Spider-Man blew everything out of the water, so that'd be the only big name movie that you think could be an Oscar contender. Dune, maybe, but still, I mean, again,
just
remakes.
This year. I don't even mean just this year. The Oscars just don't want to. I mean, they kind of have this snobby attitude that the best movie can't be a comedy or has to be about some tragedy, and people fucking no, sometimes it can just be a fucking good movie because it's a good movie. It's entertaining. It's supposed to be fucking entertaining.
All right, well, on to documentary feature. Yeah, that's okay. You're a killjoy.
You can go fast. I'm slowing it down. Just go fast, and I guess this is probably going to be where I have no opinion on them because then you see it. So go ahead.
Documentary feature I've not heard of. I think I heard of Summer of Soul because Questlove produced it, but
I have seen Summer of Soul. It's awesome. You should watch it. It's about a summer concert that took place in Harlem in 1969. It's music. It's fun. It's footage that we haven't seen before. It should win. I'm going to be pissed if Flea wins because I want Questlove to win an Oscar. There you go. Sorry, hijacking it again, but go see Summer of Love. The other I haven't. And like I said, Flea is available somewhere, but I haven't seen him.
Didn't he just say he wasn't going to have an opinion? Or...
I think he did.
Sorry, I seen that come up. I was like, I seen that. I seen Summer of Soul.
Was it? So Flea's nominated for animated feature film and documentary feature. That's fucked.
And it's going to be Best International and for Best International.
Oh my god! All right, so Attica. I assume it's about the prison. Flea. What is that? Oh, you said Afghanistan. Okay. Summer of Soul, or When the Revolution Cannot Be Televised, and Writing with Fire, which I have no idea what any of those are about, except for Summer of Soul. Anything? No. Move on.
No, I don't even know what the Queen of Basketball is fucking about.
No, I was talking about the feature.
Oh,
okay.
Well,
documentary short.
Up, so we were looking at the next category.
Okay, Jeremy. Do you have any opinions on the documentary feature? I assume by your lack of talking that you didn't.
No, I don't know what any of the fucking ones are about.
All right. Documentary short subject. Never know any of these either. Audible, Lead Me Home, The Queen of Basketball, 3 songs for Benazir, and When We Were Bullies.
But do we ever? Nobody watches documentary shorts unless you're part of it.
No. All right. Next, film editing. Don't Look Up, which everyone's either hates it or loves it. Never seen it. Dune, King Richard, Power of the Dog, Tick Tick Boom.
Man, from the ones I've seen, like again, I haven't seen. I hope maybe Tick Tick. But film editing is always one that. It's weird to me because some of the ones that they nominate and win. I mean, the one year, what was it? A Bohemian Rhapsody won, and that editing was shit, and it won the Oscar. I was like, what the fuck? I went back and seen. I was like, that editing sucked. I mean, everyone loves Queen songs, but that's not a reason to give something an Oscar. But yeah, who knows? Hopefully, Tick Tick Boom wins. For some reason, musicals tend to win in that now. But
Tick Tick Boom was Lin-Manuel Miranda, so I have not seen it. How was
it's about the guy that created the musical Rent.
Rent,
and he died real young. So
yeah, Jeremy, any opinions on editing?
Nope.
International feature film: Drive My Car Again, Flea, The Hand of God, Lunana, A Yak in the Classroom, and The Worst Person in the World.
I heard interesting things about the worst. I want to see that Worst Person in the World movie. I heard it's kind of I don't know, not a romantic comedy, but in that kind of vein. So I kind of want to see that one. Everything else is in.
Jeremy.
Moving on to makeup.
Coming to America. I've never even seen that. Did you guys see that?
I didn't watch it. Was it good?
No. It was just all, hey, nostalgia, and the story is very pedantic. It's what you expect.
Disappointing.
Eddie Murphy does some funny things, but it's a lot of callbacks, and it has its funny moments, but it's not that it's nostalgia by numbers. Everything you expected to kind of be about, you figure out the plot real soon. And it's like, okay. And yeah, Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall, they have their funny moments, but Nothing special. Oh, and Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes was funny in it too. But
All right. Cruella, Dune, Eyes of Tammy Faye, and House of Gucci.
no, although they probably should, because supposedly Jessica Chastain, they said putting on that makeup, it was starting to affect her skin, and I could see why. The way Tammy Faye with Kate, and it was very like how Tammy Faye used to be. So maybe the Oscar just for her having to sit on and put on that makeup. But yeah, I only seen that movie.
All right. Music original score. We got Don't Look Up, Dune, Encanto, Parallel, Mothers, and The Power of the Dog.
I'm guessing Encanto probably is going to win this one.
Yeah, but it's score. It's not song. So I don't know. I mean, Encanto was fine for the score. I listened to the soundtrack. It was fine. It wasn't anything that like blew me away, I don't think. Dune, I think I love Hans Zimmer usually. So I mean, I haven't seen, again, without seeing anything, I feel like we can't make a fair judgment. We're just kind of picking. We'll have a separate show for, our picks like we did last year. But
actually, you might be right. It might be Hans Zimmer for Dune, because if it's score, they might just go to the default.
All right. Jeremy?
Nothing.
Music original song. The only one I know on here. Oh, no, I know No Time to Die. Okay, that was good. That's Billie Eilish. Be Alive by Beyonce. That's King Richard. Dos Oruguitas from Encanto. So that's where everyone was like, why we don't talk about Bruno nominated? It's because these nominations were submitted before Encanto came out. And so they didn't realize we don't talk about Bruno was going to blow up.
Right.
So they put out Dos Oruguitas. So that's Lin-Manuel Miranda. If he wins, he'll be like one of the EGOT winners because he hasn't won an Oscar yet. Down to Joy from Belfast. Yeah, I guess so. Maybe for the televised Hamilton on Disney+.
No, Hamilton they won for it's some audio version of a play that you can win a Grammy for. Of course, he won the Tonys, and I did think he won an Emmy for Hamilton when it hit Disney+. So yeah, he's just missing the Oscar for the EGOT.
Yeah. And Somehow You Do from Four Good Days. No idea, but Diane Warren's a famous name. Yeah. So. Jeremy, anything? No.
Still waiting for one movie I've seen.
You didn't see the James Bond movie? Jeez, God.
No.
Best Picture. Why didn't they leave this till last? All right, so we got Belfast, we got Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. I've seen one of these. Dune.
Dune. I've seen Power of the Dog, and then I've caught, again, I started driving my car and I was like, oh shit, this is 3 hours. Still need to see Nightmare Alley. Not going to watch West Side. No Belfast. Is Coda the kid of a deaf adult, right? We started watching that. Yeah, we started watching Coda, but didn't finish that either. So
wait, was that a Netflix one?
It's I think it's Apple Plus.
I might have seen that one actually.
I think it's Apple.
Son of a bitch. I might have watched that.
He doesn't even remember.
I don't remember the title.
All right. Production design: Dune, Nightmare Alley, Power of the Dog, Tragedy of Macbeth, and West Side Story. Anything?
No. Same.
Jeremy, I'm assuming no. All right.
No.
Short film animated Affairs of the Art, Bestia, Box Ballot, Robin, Windshield Wiper. Not heard of any of those. Again, it's short film animated. Yeah.
Again, no one sees short film live action. They should just run. I hope they don't even make the telecast. It's just run through those. And then sound design and sound editing, which nobody knows what the difference is. What's the difference? Go, keep scrolling. Go. Watch.
Short
it's
film.
Gonna be, nobody live action. Go. No, go.
I want to read them. I want to give them the respect. Allah Kachu,
OCD.
Take and Run, The Dress, The Long Goodbye, On My Mind, and Please Hold, whatever. Sound, Belfast, Dune, No Time to Die, Power of the Dog, and West Side Story.
How is Coda not nominated? What the fuck? That's the only one I've seen.
Right.
He's so stupid. Visual effect. Did you see Spider-Man even, Jeremy?
I did. I got that one. I'm up to 2.
They didn't get nominated for shit, I don't think. Oh, wait, right there. Okay, so
Shang-Chi.
Okay.
What about Shang-Chi?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, wow.
Jeez, Jeremy, come on.
Hey,
my kid
visual effects may be the only category that most average movie viewer has seen most of. You have No Time to Die, Free Guy, Dune, Shang-Chi, and Spider-Man. That's put that one first.
I've seen all of those.
It's the only one that any of us care about.
I've seen all of those. I'd probably go with Dune.
I haven't seen No Time to Die. Either Dune or Spider-Man.
Yeah. Writing, adapted screenplay, Coda, Drive My Car, Dune, Lost Daughter, Power of the Dog.
Adapted, they're probably going to give it to Power of the Dog, but I could see it going to Lost Daughter or Coda.
See, I thought Coda was almost like a B-type movie when I watched it. It didn't seem like, that great a movie. The story was all right, but the acting and shit was...
Right.
Writing original screenplay.
It could have been a lifetiming kind of thing, but,
Yeah, I mean, it didn't... I don't know.
Well, this is the last category. Belfast, Don't Look Up, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Worst Person in the World, Writing Original Screenplay.
If I had to take a guess, if they want to give McKay his Oscar, Don't Look Up. I don't think Paul Thomas Anderson is going to win for Licorice Pizza. But if they want to go outside the box, then probably Worst Person in the World. So I think either Don't Look Up or Worst Person in the World. That's my...
I don't know.
I mean, we can make our bets. We can make our picks. It's funny. I'll make a pick since I've seen the most, right? And then Michael just kind of gets in. Jeremy's like, I haven't seen any of these, but that name sounds good. And we'll just see. Well, that thing where it's like you can bet against like, a monkey can make these picks. Not calling you a monkey. Well, I'm just saying you can randomly make picks to see how well the experts play against it. Yeah. So you can say like, Jeremy can be like, I've seen none of these, and these are my picks, and I still beat you, Saint. And you'd be like, there you go.
Usually I come in last. Mike does his little poll. I come in last every time.
We did that last year. Didn't Saint win even though he wasn't there? And for the picks, I think he did. He won by 1, I think.
Hell yeah.
I always beat my family, but I think he won by 1.
You got to get him out a little earlier this year, Mike.
Yeah, I know. All right. So that was a long C block, but hey, we covered everything. So that's good. We'll be back next week with
the topics next week.
We'll have topics. We always have topics. We'll have a shorter show. Let's see. Follow us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at The Usual Saints. Go to the website, theusualsaints.com. Email us, theusualsaints@gmail.com, or find our emails on the website, even though I've never gotten one. Call us 240-724-6877.
Did you check your spam folder?
I have it go to my Gmail or, my main thing. I have all my emails going there. And rate us 5 stars and review us. I told my trivia pals at Kilted Mermaid, they were asking about my podcast. I don't know how they heard about it. So I told them, hey man, you guys need to listen and rate and review us 5 stars. I'll read whatever you put and pass it along to your friends. So I'm waiting to see a little spike in our maybe go up to 5 listens or something. We'll see. But all right. So for Jeremy and Saint, I'm Mike D. Maybe Vinny will be back next week. Thanks for listening to The Usual Saints. You say "I" or "night"?
You guys have a great day.
Jeremy's just done.
I'm tired. One day off this week.
Take a break, man. Go golfing or something. You deserve it.